So you have discovered a country called Chad, and now you're interested to know more. Maybe you're planning to have a vacation with your family really soon, or you're simply interested to know more about the country that shares the same flag as Romania. Whether you came through my last video, the documentary one, which by the way, thank you very much guys, that video changed my life in ways you would never understand. So whether you came from that video or you basically just searched Chad or the video just came up to you, in this video, not only that you get to know about Chad as a country in general, but you also get to learn about its geography, its culture, and the way you could navigate yourself once you are there. Watch the video until the end, and don't forget to share, like, and most importantly guys, subscribe to my channel because it helps me grow and keep on giving you this type of content. Also, as a bonus, I will make sure to answer a few of the questions that I was asked last time in the previous Chad video. And yeah, first thing first, we're gonna start with a general yet short introduction about Chad. You have to know that geographically Chad is located in the middle of Africa. It's one of the Central African countries. In Chad, we speak Arabic and French as our official languages. However, there are other local languages, as I've mentioned in my previous videos. We have over 200 ethnicities in Chad, therefore we have over 200 languages in Chad as well, because every ethnicity has their own dialect, even if the variation is not really huge in terms of spectrum. Chad is very diverse in terms of pretty much everything. Religion is a good point as well, in the sense that we have multiple religions in Chad. Obviously, Chad is dominated by Islam and Christianity, but there's also other indigenous religions as well. The culture in general in Chad is very much influenced by, let's say, a mix of Arabic, Islamic heritage. So you can see that really impactful in the streets of N'Djamena, the capital, or even other places when you visit Chad. Chad could be divided in three main regions. We have the Sahara in the north, the Sahel in the middle, and the Savannah in the south. Because these regions have different climates, they also have different cultures. So you would see that, for example, when it comes to food, that people in the north have a different diet compared to people from the south. N'Djamena, which is the capital city, is located in the Sahel region, which is in the middle, which is why it's subject to different climate types. The currency we use in Chad is called the Central African francs. One thing you need to know is that Chad is not really developed in terms of banking in general, but especially digital banking. So do not expect to have things like mobile money when you go to Chad. It's always safer for you to have cash with you in Central African francs, which is also called CFA. So when you go to Chad, make sure you have that. So one thing I need to mention though is that you have to be quite considerate when you go to Chad, especially when it comes to approaching local people. As I've mentioned previously, that our official languages, or the most common languages in general, are Arabic and French. If you speak one of those languages, you wouldn't have any problem communicating with the local community. However, if you speak English or any other languages, when you go, try to make sure to have a guide or at least a friend that could guide you through, because we want to avoid misunderstandings. Just to make life easier for you, when you go to markets or when you just, kind of discovering the city around or wherever you are. If you decide to go in the north to see the mountains or something like that, they're the best places to be, honestly. Just try to make sure that you have a local friend. You can make friends through, online. You can reach out to some people. We have now, like, younger Chadians are learning English because, they want to be international. They want to be more open to opportunities. So you can approach those. I'm sure you're going to find people who speak English, then they can guide you through the city. Now, speaking about transport. So in Chad, we use mainly three means of transport. So obviously, we have private cars. So for those who have private cars, but for you, because you're going there, I'm expecting that you don't have a car, you could rent. So we have car rentals. The second one is taxis. They're obviously way more affordable than having to rent a car. And then the third option is kind of using what mostly local Chadians use, which is either like motor taxis, which are called clandos in Chad, or buses. So these are huge public buses. I personally would recommend you to use taxis because taxis are quite flexible. They can take you pretty much everywhere you want, and they're quite safe and secure as opposed to, let's say, motorbikes. When it comes to food, as I mentioned previously, Chad is quite diverse, so the food, also the cuisine, is quite diverse. I've noticed in my previous video some comments saying that, I'm vegetarian, so you have to understand based on the region or the location you are, some food might be way more easier to find compared to others. So if you're in the capital city or you're somewhere in the north, you're gonna find a lot of carbs. So you're gonna find a lot of bread, a lot of rice, especially bread. Like Chinese love bread a lot. And then obviously some type of meat and milk to go with it. However, if you're more on the southern region, you're gonna find lots of fruits, lots of vegetables. So if you're vegetarian, always try to mention that to your host family if you come to sit with a family or with your friends or somebody like that, because Chadians do like meat. I just have to put it out there. So you have to mention previously that you're a vegetarian, that you don't eat meat, or that you're vegan. And then obviously once you explain what that means to them, then obviously they're just going to respect your decisions. This is something that I have to say that as Chadians we have it a lot, is that we respect somebody's decision, especially when you're a foreigner and then you come to us. We just want to make sure that you stay, comfortably. Assalamu alaikum or salam. Kif. This is how we greet in Chad. If you want to go to Chad, one of the things that you really need to consider is culture etiquette. As I mentioned, the Chadian society is quite conservative, which means that we respect people who respect and value our culture. That's just in general. So when you go to Chad, you have to understand that, think about it as like how, more, let's say, progress countries where a few years back, there's this whole thing of, like, for example, respecting elderly people. It's really important that you respect elderly people. If you're speaking with somebody that's older than you, especially if they look older than you, so that's, let's say, more than 20 years age gap, you are expected to speak to them with a lower voice, with more respect. You see, like Korean, the way it's like, 안녕하세요. We have that too, but not in a physical manner, more like in a speaking manner. So the gesture should be different. We don't look at them right in the eye when you speak to them. It's just like, think about a way you could speak to maybe your uncle, somebody that you respect, an elderly person. So this is really important. Another thing I should mention in Chad is that because it's conservative, and I think many of you get the idea of why it is that way, it happens so that women are quite a sensitive topic there. Not in the sense of like, you can say hi to a woman if you see her in the streets, not like that, but avoid touching women. Women that you don't know, avoid touching them. Because in general, like even for us, once we're in Chad, obviously, we don't really get touchy even with our own siblings, or let's say with even our own parents, honestly. The Chadian society is not a touching society, so every time we see people holding hands, even if you're married, really, honestly, even couples, married couple, you don't see them holding hands in the streets. So just try to be wary of that. Try to avoid all the time being touchy with people. This is really important. Another thing that I really need to mention is that try to avoid shooting or recording people without asking their consent. The documentary video or any video that I shot in Chad, really, even within my own family, I always ask permission before shooting, because I understand how, not really alien, but how weird the whole concept of putting yourself out there is viewed in Chad. So people are still quite reserved. They don't really understand what's going on, and those who understand, they have maybe specific standards. Like, for example, if you're recording a lady who's not comfortable in showing her hair, and now you shot her in her house or somewhere and her hair is out, that may take you, really far. I mean, that could be a really big problem. So avoid doing anything without asking permissions, really, especially when it comes to having somebody's identity involved, having somebody's, vulnerability involved, especially when it comes to women. Speaking about respecting social norms, when you go to Chad, or if you watch like my videos or any other videos about Chad in general, you will notice that even the dress code is quite conservative, quite modest dressing. Although it gets really hot, but even then, people still stick to the way they dress. But if you're a foreigner, it's an exception. Nobody really cares about, it's all a decision. You can choose whatever you want to wear. However, you would not feel comfortable if you dress in a specific manner. And I know that, trust me, I'm Chading. I lived there the majority of my life, and I had, foreign friends who would come over, etc. So if you wanna, because there are two types of travelers, right? A type that wants to blend in, kind of experience the culture. The other that doesn't really care. They just want to go, maybe, for a specific thing, and then they go. If you're the second type, I don't think this matters much to you. But if you're the first type, which is kind of my type, when I go to a specific country, I want to try to live as locally as possible. I want to get to soak in everything, eat their food, dress the way they dress, and all of that. Like, I can't wait to go to India to wear sari, and to go to Pakistan and wear sarai kameez. If you're like me, then when you go to Chad, I would suggest you get a decent wardrobe. Basically, obviously, if you're a girl, you don't have to cover your hair if you don't feel like you want to, but I'm speaking about the dressing in general. So, don't, you get what I mean. Like, don't reveal too much intimate parts, especially. Now, speaking about festivities and celebrations. So in Chad, religious festivities, like, if you're Christian, celebrating Christmas, if you're Muslim, celebrating Eid, are celebrated in a heavy manner. Apart from that, we have another festival that's recurring, annually. It's called Festival Dari. It started in 2019, and it's basically like a showcase of different Chadian ethnic groups and regions. Now, the good thing about Festival Dari, if you want to know more about Chad, like a kind of a recap, is think about it like like the first or like the beginning stage of something like Global Village in Dubai. Obviously, it's not the same, but it's where it's headed to, or at least that's the vision for it. When Festival Dari first started in 2019, I was still living there in Chad, so I got the opportunity to go. It was really difficult for me to go, but I still went, and you know, it was fun. It was the first year, the first edition, so it was interesting. Now after that, especially this year, there have been some incidents that I wasn't really happy about, honestly, as a Chadian, but especially as a woman. You know, there were some girls that were not treated in a nice way by obviously the men present there. It's always, you know, when I say a girl was something happened to her, you have to understand who did it to her. It's kind of there, right? And it was because like, why are you here? As a girl, you should be at home. So it was just kind of situation that I really didn't like, and it seemed really primitive to me because it's a celebration about Chadian culture. So why shouldn't girls be there? But you have to just be wary of that. If you're a guy, honestly, you wouldn't have any problem in Chad. You would enjoy it. But if you're a girl, you have to. Sorry, you know, it's not easy for me to say it as a Chadian. Obviously, I want to present my country in the best way, but I also have to be honest and I have to be transparent in some things that we're still not there yet in some aspects. Another important thing, especially for me as a content creator, that I have to mention for sure is that you have to understand that Chad is not exactly a developed country, which means that we still struggle with problems of connectivity and electricity. So when you go to Chad, just make sure you have a portable charger. This is actually really crucial. No matter where you stay, there could be electricity, you know, for 2 days, and then the third day there's no electricity, or that it could just go. You can never trust electricity in Chad in general. So just be sure to always have a portable charger, and you know, just try to find ways, maybe like a eSIM card or something, just a way for you to be able to connect without relying on electricity. Find your means though, find your means. For me, honestly, because you know, when I go to Chad, I mostly want to disconnect. I don't want to connect. You know, I want to just enjoy with my family. I want to sit there, so I kind of throw my phone away. Obviously, unless I'm shooting something, which is kind of, for me, shooting content became second nature, so I just have my phone. I'm always recording something. But other than that, I'm not really trying to always be online. But if you want to go there and still manage to work online, or if you're going there for work, your company or your agency probably knows that, so they have some type of solution. But just ask questions in general. And this, by the way, I saw some comments of people reaching out to me saying that they have some projects related to, you know, electricity. So that could be a good business for you if you want to focus on that side of business. Anything that has to do with solar panel. We have a lot of heat, a big sun. Obviously, Chad is in the middle of Africa, but you know, there's no electricity, so you can use that. We also have lots of currents, like water currents, to use that. They teach us at school the different sources that we could use to generate electricity, but we never locally make them happen. So I guess that's your chance to go if you want to. And now, guys, we came to my favorite part, which is answering to some of your questions that you have asked in the comment section in my previous video about Chad. So let's go ahead. The first question is from Simon. Simon is saying, hi, Itismadiha. So by the way, is like saying, my name is like Madiha, so it's like Itismadiha, you know, just because somebody took Madiha, I tried to get it, but I couldn't. In any case, he said, hi. Is it safe to create travel content in Chad? I want to do a documentary about Chad. If you have someone who can show me places around Chad, please let me know. Thank you in advance. Okay, very good question, Simon. So the first one is about making travel content. As you saw when I went to Chad, obviously when I was living back there, I didn't feel the motivation to create documentaries about Chad because I was living there. Whatever that was happening, it was kind of my normal life. But because I had traveled abroad, I lived away for a while. And then when I got back, I got like a new vision. You know, it was everything that I was seeing it through like an adventure, a discoverer kind of point of view, which made me feel like everything that's happening is special. It needs to be documented. Like, people need to learn more about this. So yes, Chad needs content creators, be it Chadians or not. We need more light, be it on the good side or the negative side in general, because I believe that for a nation to advance, they have to be faced with what is working for them as a country, but what is not working for them as a country as well, to progress in that end. Now, obviously, the government has its responsibility towards that, but also the people and the young talent. So yes, how about making travel content in Chad? Please do it. Please go to Chad, discover it, go yourself. Really, it's a nice country when you go there to discover. As long as you respect the culture, as long as you respect people, you won't face any problems. Now, here's what I would say. Because Drew Brinsky, who's a big YouTuber who went once to Chad, and then he made a video, and obviously the reaction wasn't the best in terms of how the local people perceived whatever he was doing. So basically, for those of you who don't know, he went to record. Remember when I told you about the transportation means, and I mentioned the cars, like the big buses that we call car in Chad. So he went into one of them, and he was basically kind of, making contents that he was recording. And then there was a lady with a child next to her. By the way, he said that himself. And then he was recording the child, like shooting a video. Now, what he didn't know at the time, and what you should know by now, is that, as I mentioned, please ask permission before shooting. For so long, content creation in general has been stereotyped in Chad. When I first started making content, it wasn't easy. I was getting a lot of backlash, be it from people that I don't know, from my family. Why are you putting yourself out there? Again, it's like a vulnerability point. It's like, why they don't really understand the need for you as a person to make content and put it out there. So if you go to make travel content about Chad, show them that, explain to them, take your time. Obviously, if you don't speak a language, it's hard, but that's why I said you need to have somebody with you that could speak the local language. Explain to them that I'm doing this to show your country to people, to show your culture, to show how you look, how you behave, what you speak, all of that. And trust me, there won't be any problem. When I was shooting that documentary back home, I always made sure to make it clear that I'm recording something for a good cause. Now, someone who can show me places. Unfortunately, I saw a lot of misunderstanding. A lot of you thought I was still living in Chad. I was getting emails of people wanting me to take them on tours. Obviously, as a business person, this seemed like a good business point for me. I'm not gonna lie, the idea kind of came, I was like, what do you think if I make a travel tour agency or something? But this is also something that's lacking. There was a couple of travel agencies that I saw in Chad. I'm not sure if they're still operating. However, ideally, you should have somebody to take you on tours. I can't take you, unfortunately, because I'm not in Chad. Okay, next question. J'ai pris beaucoup du temps, mais bon. Is life expensive there? Omar is asking, is life expensive in Chad? Well, I always say that expensive is relative. That means if something could be cheap to you, but it could be expensive to somebody else, right? So Chad in general, because let me just give you a point of comparison. I live here in Rwanda. Obviously, let's say you go to Chad and you buy a piece of mango there and it costs you 500 CFA. I think you should know by now, CFA means Central African francs. And because it's French, so it's CFA, it's not CFA. But in any case, 500. And then you buy another piece of mango here in Rwanda and it costs you, let's say, 1K, 1,000 Rwandan francs. Technically, the mango price is the same. It's just relative to the currency, you understand? Because you need to kind of double whatever amount you have in CFA to be equivalent to the Rwandan francs. For me, as somebody who lived a little bit around Africa, I can say that Chad is not expensive, like very expensive, but obviously it's getting more and more expensive with time due to inflation. To put that into perspective, let's say if you have something like $200 to, let's say $300 to $400, that should lead you to, shelter, food, transport included within a month. You can have a quite decent life with that amount of money. So it's up to you to see. It's relative, really. Okay, so this is not a question. It's from Iceman. He says, guys, there's a butterfly. Oh my gosh. In any case, so he says, my dad told me years ago your people are also related to my people. Great seeing that you actually look like your cousin sisters. Come to East Africa and meet your other people. Thank you. I actually get that comment a lot. So as I said, I live here in Kigali, Rwanda. So I am in East Africa, and it's true that I look kind of like a lot of people here. I get mistaken for many nationalities that I can't even count. But obviously, I believe that we are one people wherever we are, however we grew up. So I like this globalization that's happening, that many of you from everywhere are getting to my video and are getting to know more about my country, and I'm getting to learn more about you as well in the comment section. So I like that. Thank you. Another one from Michael. He's saying Chad is absolutely like Sudan. The language, food is all the same. Thank you for sharing. By the way, your English is very good. Thanks again. Thank you very much, Michael. Obviously, this one has a sensitive intake. I don't know why, but Chadians and Sudanese, they should be like brothers and sisters, because we're literally neighbors. Back in the days before Westerners kind of divide Africa, we used to be one people. Actually, a lot of ethnicities that are in Sudan are also in Chad. So technically, historically, it's one blood. However, due to many political reasons, many things that are happening right now, these two people are I'm seeing some sensitivity there. If somebody says, oh, you look Sudanese, or your culture is like Sudan, Sudanese are not very happy about it, and vice versa with Chadians as well. So I really want to see that stop, because we need to get more united, guys. It's not the time for us to be divided by our differences instead of focusing on what brings us together. So this is Asif Hassan. He's saying, I saw that pancake thing made of rice butter. It is plainly made / available in South India. We call it plain dosa. Similar or exact thing made available in a state of India called Odisha. It is called chokuli. Okay, so much similarity. Thank you very much, Asif. Actually, I got that comment a lot as well. So when I was making that video about kisar, so by those of you who haven't watched the video, you have to watch it. But in any case, there was like a traditionally made kisar, which is like a kind of a pancake made in Chad. It's called kisar in Chad. And what I found out is that it's kind of common everywhere in the world, really, not just in Africa. So this is an example that in India is called dosa. And it's funny because I'm familiar with Indian culture. I was familiar with dosa, but I didn't think that it was made the same way that, you know, our kisar was made, because I haven't tried dosa yet. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm really glad. I've been learning a lot from you guys in the comment section. So thank you, Asif. I can't wait to visit India. Yeah, धन्यवाद. I am Gary from Kenya. Big love for my brothers and sisters of Tubu and Garan of Chad. So this is also another recurring comment that I've been receiving, that a lot of you are saying that we have, you know, an ethnicity in Chad. Some of you knew what ethnicity, others didn't know, but they're saying that we have a specific tribe in Chad that is originated from Somalia. So from what I see, it's linked to Tubu or Garan in Chad. And again, just the same point, guys, we're the same, literally. You're gonna find Africa, if you take Africa in general as a continent, I think you're going to find every possible blood type or ethnicity that exists in the world, literally. So, yeah, this is where humanity started. Muhammad Qadir is saying, most of the cows / bulls are retired and skinny. Whatever you're doing, good job. They're so cute. Okay, so I think the first part is separated from the second part of the comment. So thank you for saying that I'm doing a good job. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now, about this comment, I got that a lot, saying that the cows were skinny. And when I told my dad, he was like, no, let me go and take other pictures and send them to you. He sent me some pictures. I'm going to put them, guys. The way the pictures were shot are like, you know, you can understand. But the thing is, I completely understand. You know, even when I went on spot myself, because that was my first time going to the cows market. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, please refer to my previous video. So even when I went there myself, I was like, why are they so skinny? Because, you know, it's a whole market, so it was big. But then my dad told me that actually where we were wasn't exactly inside the market. We were like, kind of like at the beginning part of it. And this is where his friend, the man who was in the video with us, were. So we kind of just stationed there because he's somebody that we know. He would allow us to shoot, again, the permission side. So we didn't really get inside. Now, the cows that are usually outside like that, these are like the old days, kind of the ones that lasted for so long, months, even years. So they kind of need to put them up in front so that people, when they come, they pick them first, basically. You understand? It's like marketing strategy. You put whatever that's like you see when you go to stores and then something is almost expired, they kind of put it in front so that you can buy it as soon as possible. Obviously, it doesn't sound great when I say it like that, but it's kind of the same strategy that was going on here. I don't know. I feel like people, when they were commenting, didn't really understand what the man was saying in the video. The man was actually complaining in the video. He was saying that whatever they provide for their cows, they're providing it for themselves, through themselves. You know, they were not getting any help. They're not getting any government help. Even the place where they're going to put, you know, the cows and everything is really a matter of, they understand that there's a problem and that they're looking for solutions. So it's not a show off. It's more like presenting what's happening in a way that maybe somebody could see and they could provide help somehow. And if you want to help, really, just reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to continue on that note. I'm African American. I'm in search of where I should visit first. Thank you for the video. Okay, so we have lots of great places in Chad when you go. There's one place that is like kind of really the pearl of Chad that I really want to visit, and it's like in the northern part. It's called the Tibesti region. It's neighboring Libya from up. So if you take Chad's map, you see that in the upper part is where we're neighboring Libya, and in that part we have the prettiest rock structures, mountains. So I think when you go there, try to find a group that's organizing like a trip around to go there. I want to, like the next time I'm going to set foot in Chad, it's promised that I'm going to go there, inshallah, obviously. But, you know, I really want to go there and see how it is because everybody's saying it's like so pretty. And if you see the pictures, it's amazing. لغتك العربية جيدة تحدثي فيها الفيديو القادم تحية لأهل تشاد من السعودية. So to translate for you guys, he's saying that my Arabic language is good. I should use it in the next video. And he's saying that he's from Saudi Arabia and he's sending much love to Chad. Thank you very much. Shukran. هو صحيح انه انا لغتي العربيه جيده الحمد لله، وشكرا اكيد على الكومنت. انا من تشاد، ففي تشاد نحن يعني نستخدم العربيه والفرنسيه كمان، اكثر شيء العربيه. السبب اني ما بستخدم اللغه العربيه لفيديوهاتي، لانه اصلا بديت قناتي بالعربيه وبعدين بعد 3 فيديوهات استسلمت. I was like no done. بس الفكره انه المفروض نحاول نكون انترناشونال على قدر المستطاع، من ناحيه توعيه، من ناحيه توصيل الثقافه التشاديه واكثر الثقافات يعني. ولاحظت انه في صناع محتوى تشاديين يستخدموا العربيه والفرنسيه، فما حسيت انه وجودي حيضيف حاجه من ناحيه انه اوريدي في صناع محتوى بالعربي. فلاحظت انه تقريبا ما في عندنا اي صانع محتوى يستخدم الانجليزي، والانجليزيه هي اللغة العالمية. فقلت ليش لا، لأنه أنا الحمد لله بتكلم أكثر من لغة، فليه ما استخدم اللغة من حيث إنه ضيف شيء ما موجود. Sister, take love from Bangladesh. Chat people language of Arabic or English. So much love to Bangladesh. I noticed that my video was kind of everywhere in India and Bangladesh and Pakistan. Thank you very much. Much love to Bangladesh. So from what I understood, you're asking if in Chad we speak Arabic or English. So we speak Arabic and French. However, you can find some people who speak English, especially younger people. You can try to reach out to them before setting foot in Chad, just to make the whole process easier for you. What are the prices of a big sheep, goat, and cow? Me and my brother wanted to import sheep, goats, and cows from Chad, but want to know if it's possible or not. We are Gambians. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have them memorized. I'm not gonna pretend. I did my research, and by research, my source is my dad mostly. But so I got you the average prices. Okay. I'm just going to read it. Cattle prices depend on many factors, including the season, the breed, the provenance, like where are they coming from, in which region of Chad, etc. But in average, the price is as following. Okay, 1, the goat. For the goat, the price is between 35k to 60k francs CFA. Don't worry, I made the math for you. I converted it in dollars for you. So that's around $55 to $95 on average. That means it could be cheaper and it could be more expensive. They say, my dad told me, people don't eat that much goats in Chad, which is true, by the way. I think it's when I came to East Africa that I realized that goats are kind of devoured in that way. We mostly just eat sheep there, but in any case, people don't eat them much in the capital, but it's cheaper in the province, like outside of the capital city, obviously. You can understand why. Now for sheep, however, which are the most consumed in Chad, so during Eid time, it's more expensive because this is where people want to take them, obviously, to give them a sacrifice. Even like during the pilgrimage time, which is what the time of Hajj. So when people go to do the pilgrimage, once they're back, so people buy sheep to provide to them as like kind of a gift. But on average, the price is between 40 to 100k sefa, which in dollars is between $63 to $157. Now for cows, so the cows on average cost between 150k to 160. That's for wholesalers because there's also a market for that. There's huge demand for wholesalers. Obviously, if you want to start a business with your brother, then you could be interested in that. And I was told that most of the buyers are mostly Turks. And obviously they buy them mostly during Eid time or pilgrimage time, so that's for religious purposes as well. But for individual consumption, so if you just want to take one, the prices is cheaper because it ranges from 120 to 150,000 sefa, which is 189 to $237. Like for camels, so Chad is known for camels in the region at least, because obviously we have proper condition for camels to thrive in. So we have lots of camels as well. Although I have to mention that we don't consume camels a lot. Obviously, there's some exceptions, and camel meat is halal, so obviously everything that's allowed when it comes to meat, Chadians consume it. But in general, it's not really much, because I don't know, but personally, it's like a whole camel to slaughter it, to eat it. I don't really feel, I don't know what, I don't feel positive about that. But obviously, if you want to, then the price ranges from 400k to 700k francs CFA, which is between 731 to 1,001 of $5. So I don't know much about camels, but what I learned is that there's one that is like a team leader. It's called Fahal in Arabic, and it's like kind of the one that's leading the team, and everybody's surrounded. And then he kind of puts the rules and regulations really of the whole camel tribe, if you can call it, of the whole herd. So that one can go up to 1 mil francs CFA. Do the conversion for that one. I didn't do it for you. Gotta put some work, God. Gotta go do some energy. Okay, let's go to the next question. How safe is Chad for international travelers? Dubai to Chad soon, inshallah. Inshallah, welcome to Chad. Chadians love to go to Dubai all the time. Actually, one of the most visited countries in kind of Africa and the Middle East for Chadians is like Egypt, Sudan, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, of course. Honestly, if you ask me personally, I would say international travelers are the safest in Chad, really. One thing about Chadians is like they get involved into their people's matters. So that means if like you're their daughter or their son, they feel like they're entitled to get involved into your life in general. But if you're a foreigner, it's up to you to choose how much you want people to get involved. Now, if you're talking about safety and security in terms of when I get hit on the streets, would I get, attacked or something? In general, if you go to Chad, anywhere from Aisha, so that's between 7, it depends obviously on the season, but let's say 7 to 7:30 onwards, so going into the night, people avoid going out. That's just what I have to say. Obviously, for girls, it starts way earlier. Yeah, well, yeah. Al-wiqaya khayru min al-ilaj. This is what we say in Chad, that protection is better than cure. So it is safe for you to go. However, follow whatever the local community is doing. If nobody is coming out of the house after 9, just don't come out of the house after 9. If nobody is going to that specific neighborhood, don't go to that specific neighborhood. Like, I think this applies to every country, really, be it in Dubai, be it in the US. There are some places and there are some times where people just avoid going out. So keep that in mind. I'm being transparent here. The anchor is beautiful. She looks like Miss Chad. Oh gosh, thank you. I needed some ego boost. I needed to boost my ego, to... Guys, I was just helping you. Now you need to help me by giving me nice comments. And by the way, my name is Madiha, and in Arabic it's coming from the word madeh, which is like compliment. Actually, it's like praise. So it's like somebody who's worthy of praise. So I like praise, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, greetings from Uganda. Is it called Chad with a C or Chad with a T? Very good question. I see a lot of people getting confused about that as well. Whether you use Chad with a C or with a T, it works, it's the same thing. But the difference is that in English, Chad is written with a C, because obviously you can just see it and say it's a Chad. But in French people just like to add extra things, like obviously. They could have just put Chad, but usually in French to get that ch, you have to put a T before CH or SH in general, so ch. So that's the difference. So if you write Chad with a T, that means you're writing it in French. If you write Chad with a C, then that means you're writing it in English. Okay, but Chadians understand anyway, so it's not a problem. Nasser Adam says, you are talking about gold. What are you gonna do with it while your cows are hungry and the people are very poor? What a contradiction. Okay, I don't know if you have really focused on the intro of the video itself. The whole goal. Okay guys, so I was answering Nasser's question and then all of a sudden my phone just dies and I've been talking there for like 2 minutes on my own. But in any case, whatever you saw in that video was intentional. And if you have focused on that video from the introduction, I always said I wanted to show the contrast of the Chadian economy. I wanted to show the contrast of the Chadian way of living, of the Chadian community in general, really. Because the truth of the matter is, being a Chadian myself and being an African myself, I've always been faced with this sort of sour truth, really, with this fact that having resources is never enough. It's not going to make a nation rich or wealthy for that matter. And that, economical prosperity is way more complex than that. Now, be it that the country is a victim or that it's victimized, but in the overall, you find these situations pretty much everywhere in Africa. I've been in Congo recently, and it's the same thing. Congo is practically, resources-wise, it's like the richest country in the world, not just in Africa. And it's still the way it is. And it really hurts my soul, and it hurts me to my bones whenever I see this. I wanted to show that that contrast. I wanted to show that paradox, really. And I wanted you to make whatever you want to make out of it, because the truth is, what I realize is that a lot of people who are not familiar with this kind of situations, they don't really even understand how that could be possible. How can a country so rich be also so poor? And if you notice in all of my videos, in all of my documentaries where I go around Africa, I try to highlight this as much as possible, because I want, if any African, or be it American African, whatever you are really, if you're watching that video and you could relate in a manner, I want you to know that just sitting there and complaining and making conferences doesn't really lead us anywhere. We have to take action. We have to take small actions. That's why I'm business oriented, especially small businesses, micro businesses oriented, because these are the type of things that actually get, especially the locals, on their feet. you know, if you go to a country that's a third world country or an LDC, you realize that it's the local community that kind of gets it to its feet where it can run, obviously. And if you don't focus on them, if we're just focusing on big projects, a project that's only going to benefit the top 1% in every poor country, let's say, it's not going to take us anywhere. So it's really just a matter of awareness. You have that information now. You know, what was your name? So Nasser, now you know that this is a fact if you didn't know before. And it was intentional. And I'm planning to do that in all of my videos wherever I go. I want to show the contrast. I want to show that in a country where this is available, this could be the result of it as well. Okay guys, one last question. The person is saying, what is underrated about Chad? Can you explain it? It is a third world country and some religious factors even push it to fourth world country. I didn't know fourth world countries existed, but in any case, I understand what you're trying to get it, and I appreciate that you asked me to explain. So here's the thing. The world has become so much focused on materialistic stuff that we undervalue human existence like as a whole. So for you to say that what is underrated about Chad just because it is considered a third world country, this explains exactly the reason why I said it's underrated. Because we became so much reliant on wealth and richness and material stuffs that we don't care. Because to me personally, culture, the beauty of people, humanity, life, human experiences, what makes us different, what makes us unique, what makes us similar, these are way more important to me than any materialistic stuff, right? Obviously, we need money to proceed with our lives. This is no-brainer. But at the same time, if you center all your judgments based on that, then I think you have a serious problem. When I say Chad is underrated, just like many countries in Africa and in the globe in general, around the world, it's because they are not considered first world countries, nobody cares about how the people are living there. Nobody cares if, what is the situation there. Nobody cares about the beauty that is there. Nobody cares about the evil that is there. Nobody cares if there's somebody that they could help from there. Nobody cares if there's, it's like everything is just so material centered that I have to answer to this comment. You understand? Maybe to you it's not so evident, but to me, it's just there. So yes, maybe it's not underrated in your eyes. Maybe it deserves to stay underrated in your eyes. But to me as Maddie, as somebody who saw that country, I would say that most of our African countries are super underrated. And you don't have to concern yourself with that, but I would keep fighting for our culture to show, for our beauty to show, for our voices to be heard. I'm tired of being underrepresented. That's why I'm not expecting you to come and cover my country for me. I'm doing it myself, and I'll keep on doing that. So yeah, so to me it is underrated, and it won't be very soon, inshallah. But yeah, that's my point. Any case, guys, my phone is dying, so I wanted to kind of change location for me to do the outro to say goodbye to you, but I guess I'm just going to do it here. Please, guys, subscribe to my channel and ask me more questions if you have them. Ask me more questions about anything. I live in Rwanda, so if you're interested in Rwanda, you want to know more, tell me. The countries that I visited before, I visited Morocco, I visited Senegal, I visited Congo, and if, I'm planning to travel more this year, 2025 for me is all about travel. It's all about human experience. It's more about learning about other people. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, and see you next time. Bye.